Hello and welcome to another episode of the Business of Business. This is Roy. Today we have an awesome guest. I can't wait to get to him. It is Trav Bell. He is the bucket list guy. He's the world's #1 bucket expert. He is a self-appointed bucket listologist. And what Trav does is he helps people live their bucket list before it's too late. His unique life engagement message really wakes you up, stops ground-hog days, and helps you to experience more fulfillment. No one practices what they preach more than Trav. He's the author of the My Bucket List Blueprint. He's also a TEDx Thought Leader, a certified speaking professional, and he's founder of the CEO of Bucket List Coaches, who are now on their mission to help 10 million bucket listers. Wow. Trav, welcome to the show.
G'day, Roy. How are you going?
Hey, I'm doing great. And I saved the best for last. I love this line. It's the most poignant, is that a bucket list is a tangible life plan where our business plan or career plan should fit into our life plan and not the other way around.
Yeah.
And, I think probably like a lot of us, especially entrepreneurs, we get caught up in this, the excitement of doing the business part, and we really forget about this. So this is a great opportunity for us to have you on the show to, let's talk about why is this important? Why is it important?
It is important because I say a bucket list is a tangible life plan where our career plan, our business plan should fit into our life plan and not be the other way around. It's about helping people understand and really create a tangible why, maybe for the first time. I mean, Simon Sinek says, start with why. And this goes a little bit, it goes to a lot deeper level and helps people really get engaged in their life, and has a direct waterfall effect, a direct domino effect into business, into entrepreneurship, right? So if you're engaged in life, you're just getting out of bed in the morning. You're running toward the goal. You're not, and you're making decisions quicker. You're hiring faster. You're leveraging more, so you can, and that has a direct side effect into business. Time. Our businesses, as you know, like our businesses should produce two things and two things only, and that is to produce cash flow and also time flow to allow us, the business owner, to do all the stuff that we want to do in our life, enter the bucket list concept. So it's about reverse engineering that for people and give them some real tangible end steps, some real tangible whys. And it's a lot more than just traveling around the world and, doing the typical bucket list things that you may hear about. It's a lot more diverse, a lot more holistic than that. And I've been doing this for about 10 years now, and it's really helped business owners really turn the lights on, and really get inspired and to build their businesses quicker and faster.
Okay. Yeah. And the first thing is, I guess also is, we need to enjoy the spoils of life. If we're going to work hard to earn, to have the time and the money, we need to do something that's worthwhile. But I guess the hardest part too is that, trying to talk us, I'll include myself in this category somewhat, is, trying to talk us out of that control or always feeling like we have to be there, that, it's really okay to step away for some length of time to go do something else, to have fun and enjoy life.
But hello, isn't that the reason why we go into business for the first place? I mean, one of my business partners, his name's Brad Sugars, and he runs Action Coach, who is a big global business coaching franchise around the world. So he's the founder of that, and one of the things that he has said for years and years is a business is a commercial profitable enterprise that works without you. And I like that. It helps you compartmentalize why you're in business in the first place. You didn't get into the business just to create a really busy job for yourself. So, so if you are that way inclined, cool, just go and get a job. Like, get rid of your business, go and get a job and let someone else worry about the, hiring staff and paying the bills.
Right. So, okay, we made our decision. We're going to get out and enjoy life a little bit more now. Where do we start? How do we start building that bucket list? And I know you said it's not always about the travel, but where do we go from there?
No. Yeah, good question. Remember back in the day, Roy, we had these things called pen and paper. I mean, it's a crazy concept, I know.
Right.
Yeah. And when the pen meets the paper, this thing called writing actually occurs. So actually, if you write the first step, I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah.
If you actually write down your freaking goals, people, let alone your bucket list items, you actually got a 42% more likelihood of them actually manifesting. So you're nearly halfway there if you actually just write things down. But what's easy to do is easy not to do, right?
Right.
So I encourage everyone to put pen to paper, and there's actually studies that show that if you used analog pen to paper versus digital, it has a greater likelihood of them actually coming to fruition, of them manifesting. So get a pen and paper out first and start writing all the stuff, all the things that you want to do on your bucket list. Now, in terms of a bucket list, what is that? The next step, probably go to my TED talk. I did a TED talk a few years ago in front of 2,000 people. That was actually on my bucket list to do a TEDx talk. So I did one at the biggest TEDx conference here in Australia. And in that, and it's called Life's Too Short by Trav Bell. So watch that. All right, that'll give you some really good ideas beyond travel. And what I do in that, and what I do when I do keynote speaking and stuff, is I introduce and unpack this concept of the My Bucket List blueprint, which is what I wrote the book about. And it's an acronym. It's a 12-step system for how to write, articulate or extract, should I say, and articulate a personally meaningful and holistic list. And it's way beyond, like I said, sure, you've got the marathons and the bungee jumping and the skydiving, all the classic bucket list things that we want, and the 7 wonders of the world and all that sort of thing. But what it helps people do is get more of a holistic list, and more importantly, you'll discover and unearth all the little things that you can do, like right now. Not wait until someday, which ain't a day of the week. Not wait until the perfect time, which there isn't one. Not wait until retirement. Not wait until you sell your business, until you hire. Things that you can do right now. And the reason why I'm so passionate about this is because we've grown up and we're in a delayed gratification society. I'll be happy when syndrome. I'm going to do all that stuff in retirement. When I get out of my business, when I retire from my job, I'm going to cash in the 401k and off we go. But the fact is, you and I both know, Roy, and all the listeners and watchers out there know people who have sold their business or got out of their career, and then they've had 5 to 10 years good years left, and then sayonara, and that just depresses me. I want to help people live a regret-free life rather than a regret-full life, and I want people to be happier now. And so this gives us a really tangible life plan where we're identifying all the things that gives us meaning, purpose, fulfillment, and gratitude in our life. Because having gone through mental health battles myself, through depression, I created this for me, and I created this whole bucket list concept, and someone luckily called me the bucket list guy 10 years ago. But I started doing this work to help me really see the light at the end of the tunnel, really to be happier in myself, to give me more purpose, fulfillment, and meaning in my life, rather than going on antidepressant drugs and putting like a Band-Aid effect over it. I decided to go into personal development and positive psychology, and we put the brand of Bucket List over the top of all these learnings, created some intellectual property, and that's what we've done for people, because the stats are frightening. The mental health stats of depression, anxiety, suicide, youth suicide, the overprescription of antidepressants is at an all-time high. And we've even got this thing now, Roy, called the loneliness epidemic. Like, Google it, it's a thing. it's massive. It's the adverse effect of social media, and it's freaking scary, dude.
Right.
It's scary. So the stats are climbing. This is my little way, and through our coaches as well, leveraging the message and scaling out around the world. This is our way of maybe changing that narrative, giving people really like tools to help them put their own oxygen mask on first before they can help others, to help other people be happier, to help us all be happier now rather than later on in life, getting more engaged in life right now. That's what it's all about. And it gives people a real sense of accomplishment, and that a feeling that I can do this. Helps them get over that fear of failure that a lot of people, that's why a lot of people don't actually write goals down. They fear of failure. So it helps people, it gives them the momentum and motivation to smash through the bigger ones if you start choosing the little things that make you happier now.
Right. Yeah, and talking about the waiting syndrome. When I was a young man, I went to work for a big company, and my first day on the job, the guy said, basically, "Hi, my name is Joe. I've got 7 years, 3 months, and 12 days until retirement." And
Wow.
I learned that this was the company culture. And so then we had a new person that came in. She was in our employee systems program and giving a talk to us. And she's like, "I've never been in a company where people are counting down the days. We're wasting time counting down our days to retirement. And, you're lucky if you have your health and if you make it to that retirement." So, I'm with you.
Yeah.
And I tell these young kids, anybody that'll listen, is you need to start when you're young. There's never going to be a perfect time for anything. So you got to make yourself get started now.
Yeah, Roy, and we're right in the middle of COVID right now, in the pandemic that's sweeping the world. And I'd like to be I'm an optimist. I'm sure you are as well.
Right.
What this has shown us, well, really is, we've become closer with our families. We're not traveling as much as we were. It's allowed us to take a big collective global deep breath in and helped us recalibrate on our happiness and our lives. And I really do hope that people have taken this opportunity to recreate, reimagine what their new normal is going to be from here on, not to go back to the way we were. In the last 6 months, nearly every business has gone online. We've all failed forward faster into technology.
Yeah.
We're radically collaborating like never before. We're innovating like never before. We're adapting. And I think it's shown us all of how resilient we can be, right?
Right.
And so,
exactly.
and so if people need to take stock of that. We can hear the news and get bombarded with that negative news, but let's flip it. Let's have a look at, all right, what have I learnt during this? How am I going to come out of this even better? I mean, that's a pact that my family and I made. We want to come out of COVID better in every single area of our life. We're not going to be COVID's bitch. So at the end of the day, we've done that and we're still doing it. But the recreation, the reimagining of our new normal, working from home a little bit more. Actually, we were working at home before it was cool anyway. But, but at the end of the, people are now molding this new work-life blend definition for themselves, and companies are doing it as well. There's a lot of companies that have said, no, we don't want our corporate lease anymore, that big overhead. We've proven to ourselves that we can work our team can work from home a lot more effectively, and we have got great results as a result. And, every entrepreneur, I think, is probably bear witness to how they can do things differently going forward. So it's been a really good shake-up.
Yeah, and I can speak from personal experience. It wasn't really on my bucket list, but one thing that's manifested out of this is we've tried to take a little more stock in our health, eat better, get out and exercise together, me and my girlfriend. And so we've been cooking together. I'm not a big cook, never really had any interest, but that's one of those little things. And I guess it kind of leads to the question I was going to ask is, we've all got the big trips. We want to do, Iceland, India, all of that stuff. But what are examples of those little day-to-day things, those little victories or the little bucket list items that you've seen?
Yeah,
recommend either one.
Taking lessons in and learning skills that you'd like to learn, such as there's been a lot of, even though we haven't been able to travel, there's been a lot of people starting to learn new languages, learning instruments, even tracing their genealogy through to taking up new, integrating new habits. I had 5 ladies in a company start crocheting lessons the other day. I didn't even know what the hell crocheting was. But
exactly.
People people getting into art, getting into photography, training for events, setting themselves up to train for different events, that when those events do happen, they're all set to go. I'm actually there's a heap of things that people have done here. Cooking has been a big one. We got ukulele, welding, public speaking, crocheting. Someone started Portuguese, bass lessons, how to make sourdough. There you go. Sushi making. Someone's taken up kiteboarding, lasso lessons. These are all examples of literally of programs that we run on a day-to-day basis. And and people have, unfortunately, people have bought a lot of stuff online too. Little gifts to themselves. And it's I'm doing one at the moment, which is a challenge rather than a physical challenge. It's an intellectual challenge. And that, I've done the Ironmans and I've done the surfing big waves and all the, the marathons, et cetera, but an intellectual challenge is reading 52 books in a year.
Right.
Some people are doing a challenge such as not drinking for a year. These sorts of things. These are also bucket list items, and that challenge you. See, it's not about this whole bucket list concept. Is not about just writing a simple list and then going and doing it. It's really about how a person reverse engineers every aspect of their life in order to make this stuff come to fruition. It's the growth of us on this journey towards these self-imposed destinations, but more importantly, it's about the person that exists on the other side, the person that we don't know yet, the bigger version of us. And that's called our potential, right? When we see and experience more of our own potential, it puts a smile on our face. And I think that's the meaning of life, And but one of the things I said in the TED talk, if people are dying at 40 and being buried at 80.
Yeah, that's a good point.
People have been living by default rather than by design. They've been existing and not living. Right. So let this be a wake-up call. So it's not until someone gets a cancer diagnosis or they have a heart scare that's enough to shake them up, to get them to, go from focusing on just their daily to-do list to suddenly their bucket list comes, gets reprioritized. So my whole mission, mate, is to help wake people up before they get given a use by date.
Yeah. Yeah. And, talking about the extensive travel in, like I said, India, Iceland, all that. The other thing I think that I'm getting from your message is that we don't have to do, it doesn't always have to be expensive. There are a lot of things that we can do that are at no cost whatsoever to us as well.
Well, one of the things that I've been saying lately is be a tourist in your own hometown.
Right.
you know, and it's not like I'm doing one bucket list item, wait for that to finish in another. You know, I'm doing 5 things at the moment, and there's been, and so it's a compound effect, and it's a, a lot of people have been writing books, taking up new skills to, do video editing, these sorts of things, and taking the opportunity to really go within and discover maybe areas that they can find flow in. But really what we're doing is identifying the things that bring us happiness, bring us meaning, bring us fulfillment. And that's very, very individual. So, don't compare mine is bigger than yours or any crap like that. It's simply a personal exercise for people to go after. And look, from a business point of view, it gives you a really good reason to build your business.
Right. Yep. Like you said, get that time and that money. So there is that flip side to that, is that, sometimes when we get burnout or we stay do the job too much, too many hours, too much stress, we can actually kind of lose our edge, lose our focus, lose our creativity. So can you talk about the flip side of this, is that if we do get away, spend that quality time, accomplish some things that we really want to, it actually will help us perform better in our work or in our job too.
Oh, 100%. Look, I call this person that we're talking about as a bucket lister. I brand them as a bucket lister. We've got a big global community of bucket listers on Facebook, and a bucket lister is someone that is glass half full, someone who's who's a leader in their life, someone who's inspiring, who is inspired within, walks their talk, is a great example for others to follow. They're the type of person that you want to catch up for a beer, wine, or coffee, right? Versus the other type of person you catch up and you feel like, after catching up with them, you feel like you need a wash or a holiday, and so this is a positive kind of person, but this is what I call a bucket lister. These kinds of people, which I implore everyone to become, these are the kinds of people that I want to do business with. I'm happy to be sold by that person. Whenever I catch up, they've got an adventurous, they've got a fun, they've got great stories. These people get more opportunities. They're attractive to clients. Hey, they're even attractive to the opposite sex. So if you don't take anything out of this conversation, if you're a bucket lister, you will get laid more. There we go.
Okay. Well, and to the point about, we'll go back to the job. I won't go into that one there, but I had an interview with a guy that he was from New York City, had an opportunity to take a job in Puerto Rico, and everybody kind of poo-pooed on him, said that was a bad move, shouldn't do it. He ended up taking 6 months off and traveling Africa, and he said that it was funny that whenever he would go into interviews after that, nobody wanted to talk about his job experiences. They wanted to talk about his travels. So to the point of making us more interesting, it helps in a lot of facets that we just can't even see right now.
Yeah, and I guess as you do more and more of this, I guess you just check in with less and less people to see if it's okay. What are we comparing ourselves against? Who are we comparing ourselves against? Keeping up with the Joneses is just an ego play.
Right.
So if you actually let go of ego and tapped into your heart and then went, what do I want to do in my life? And we won't have a conversation about afterlife, but I reckon we've only got one of these. And
right.
And dude, like the average age of death, the average age of death in America is about 80 years of age.
Okay.
Right. And if you've ever seen me speak, there's 3 questions. I put up this big grid, right? And I say, it's an 80 square grid. It's a 10 by 8 grid. I said, that's all the years you've got on Earth, right? And they say, okay, cross off the ones mentally or physically, cross off the ones that you've been alive. So if you're 40, half of those are crossed off. If you're 50, obviously a bit more. And I'm closer to 50 now. And then I say, okay, well, have a look at those squares now. And then everyone's like, oh shit, okay, I didn't come up for this motivation session. This is like, yeah. I'm depressed now. But then I ask 3 very poignant questions, which actually makes it worse. I say, okay, how many people, and I did this in the TED talk, about 2,000 people in front of me. I said, who here knows people have been diagnosed or died from cancer? Pretty much everyone puts up their hand, just like the movie, The Bucket List. Who knows people have been diagnosed or died from cancer? Yep. And it's pretty frightening from the stage point of view. Look across a sea of people that have got their hands up.
Right.
And then I say, okay, second question, how many people do you know have been diagnosed or died from cancer? How many people? Show of fingers. And people are like, okay, I know 3, I know 10. And some people like this, and then I say, okay, have a look around the room. And people are like, fuck, that's okay. That's full on. And it really does hit you. And then I say, okay, last question. How many of them, showing the fingers, how many of them actually made their 80 squares? And people are like, okay. I said, guys, there's no science here. You guys have just seen the survey. We do not know when our time is up. We think we know, but we really don't know. So when is a good time to start living your bucket list? It's right now, obviously.
Right.
So it's the wake-up call. It's the virtual cancer diagnosis that people seemingly over the last 10 years have really needed. Right place, right time for a lot of people. And
right.
Mate, I gave a talk to. I was telling a guy over in the UK last night this that I've raised some money for the Reach Foundation. Reach Foundation is a personal development program for kids, for teenagers, young adults, for wayward teens, some living on the street, etc. And I've raised some money. Amazing. It's set up by an ex-Australian football champion, Jim Steins, who's passed away from cancer, but it's like a totally coolest legacy ever. And they run camps and programs. And to be a leader within the Reach Foundation, you've got to have gone through the programs, graduated, and want to pay it forward. So they asked me to do a presentation to the leaders of the Reach Foundation, 50, 60 young adults. And I said, I'd be honored. I love you guys. I love what you do. And I gave a talk. And then at the end of the talk, which is not kind of normal keynote, this young woman got up. She would have been about 20, 21 years of age. And she was absolutely bawling, she was crying. And I said, what's wrong? In front of everyone, what's wrong? Is everything okay? And she said, if my younger sister had been here to see your presentation today, she wouldn't have killed herself 2 weeks ago. And I went, oh, dude, that was still gets me. And I'm like, that day, and I've had quite a few other situations like that and feedback like that. That's the days that I cement my why and what gives me purpose to go out there and help even more people.
Right. All right. So as soon as we get off here, I'm getting my pen, my old style pencil and paper, and I'm getting ready to write me some notes. So, where I know we talked a little bit about where you start, but do you write down a couple big things, like should I put my trip to India at the top of the list and then write a few little things that I'll be able to tick off, or how do you suggest?
Roy, I'm not a rocket scientist, but you've mentioned India 2 to 3 times already in 30 minutes. So I think, maybe the power of perception, or call it NLP, mate, but I think India is right up there, isn't it?
It's got to be, yeah. And I figure if I say it enough, I'll end up there.
Well, funny enough, look, here's the thing. You've got to focus on the what and the why, not about the how. Don't overcomplicate this. Don't overcomplicate it. A lot of people don't even write stuff down because they're worried. They overcomplicate the how. Right. India, when am I going to go? What time of year? What do I have to do in my business in order to make that happen? Who am I going to go with? But just write down India, and in particular, Taj Mahal. Taj Mahal is awesome. It's busy, but unbelievable. You know, when you walk through those first gates, when you look down the Taj Mahal, mate, you know that is goosebump stuff, and the history of the Taj Mahal and all the forts around Delhi there are just absolutely phenomenal. And you know, you can't get there soon enough. You know, and you got the big, and this is the, you know, the top ones for me. The 7 man-made wonders of the world being the Colosseum, Machu Picchu, Great Wall of China, Taj Mahal. There's 4. I've done those. Machu Picchu, what is the other ones? Oh, Colosseum, yep. Christ the Redeemer down in Brazil is another. Petra in Jordan is another, and I'm missing one. Machu Picchu. I'll get to it in a second, but you know, that's what I'm doing on my bucket list at the moment. I've got 2 to go: Petra in Jordan, Chichen Itza in Mexico. There we go. So those are the 7 man-made wonders of the world. They're just absolutely awesome. And so I've got Petra in Jordan to go, and also the Christ the Redeemer down in Brazil. So I was meant to be down in Brazil about this time this year, but I'll be crossing that one off next year. But these big 7, you know, man-made wonders of the world, are absolutely awesome. So put it on there, but be prepared. India is one crazy place.
Yeah, you know, I've done some work with some groups out of there, and you know, really good people. And so anyway, I've got some people I want to get over there and see, but just the sights from the country to the Taj Mahal and everything in between, it'll be fascinating. I know
the food is absolutely phenomenal, and you want to, you know, get down to Chennai as well. The food's even better down there, I reckon. But you know, I did a 5-city tour, speaking tour with the Young Presidents Organization a few years ago. Talking to groups all around India, and it was just phenomenal, but very, very busy place.
Right.
But what else, you know, like, so what else is on there? What's the next one?
Like Iceland, I want to go there. In South America, I'm not really no point, just I'd like to go down there. I've never been. So you know, and talking about being in your backyard, I mean, there's places right here in town that, you know, I haven't been to, and of course there's places closer in the US too. So a lot to choose from. And that's I think that's a good point, is it doesn't always have to be the big massive thing.
No, but that's what debilitates everyone, right? And that's why, you know, Machu Picchu is on everyone's bucket list. Is like, yeah, cool, but you're going to be 80 before you actually make a decision.
Right.
And you know what, to do that in style, you want to get fit first, because you want to do the 3 to 4 day Inca trail trek as well through the Andes, which is absolutely phenomenal. So for me, my bucket list was to do that with my dad. I took 12 bucket listers, people who've been to my events with me. And I arrived at Sungate at Machu Picchu after doing the Inca Trail for the 3 days previous. And mind you, doing the Inca Trail with the group that we went with, it was full on glamping as well. Like it wasn't camping, it was glamping. It was right. Oh God. And my dad and I have grown up like trekking and out in the wild quite a bit, and surfing and Dad's just turned to me on day one and gone, what the hell is this? I mean, we've got like little warm hand towels and stuff and little soaps, and I'm surprised we didn't have mints on the pillows. It wasn't really roughing it, but I did that. We finished that on the morning of my 40th birthday.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, really pivotal time.
Well, Trav, it's been great having you. So I know we're going to have a lot of new bucket listers, but before we get to that, tell me, is there a habit, is there a tool, a ritual that you have in your daily routine that you just couldn't do without, either personal or professional?
You know what, I that's a good question. a tool. I mean, we've got all the online tools and they're a bit, cliche now, but I actually use, for me to organize myself, I've tapped into Michael Hyatt's Full Focus Planner. And it's a really cool tool to help me organize on my days, from my typical kind of perfect week through to my top 3 MVPs that I try and cross off every single day. And there's so much stuff going into my head that I need to put pen to paper every single day. So I'm a big list writer, not just in bucket list, but also in to-do list and getting organized around that. And I bookend my day too. I bookend my day. So, most days I'm writing in the morning, because as entrepreneurs, you've got to build in these daily habits. We've got kind of habit goals. There are 2 types of goals. We've got habit goals and success goals. Achievement goals. Achievement goals are like bucket list items. I did the marathon. I went to Machu Picchu. I went to India. That's an achievement goal. But a habit goal is like drinking 4 liters of water a day, or exercising every day. And I like to bookend my day because I'm working from home, I'm leading a team. I want to be uber productive and just energetic for things like this, and have a high level of vitality for the kids, and have energy to be present, and also cope with the mental crap that goes on with business as well. But cycling in the morning, coffee afterwards, bit of banter back and forth, bit of racing, heart rate up, cardio. And then at the end of the day, it's stretching, it's weight training at the gym. And my partner, Tracy, and I do that together. And that's like our quality time. That's one of the pieces of time that we've carved out together to do that together. We're both into fitness, and that was actually my previous business. I was in the personal fitness training industry for over 20 years and founded and franchised a chain of personal training studios before I got into doing this. So that's always been part of my day. And I guess, going back to your question, these are all habits, tools, techniques, hacks that help me lead now we've got certified bucket list coaches in 22 countries around the world. So I'm founder CEO of that and managing the team. And apart from doing that, wanting to have the energy to do things like this with you.
Right. No, and I do my best thinking when I get out and walk. Doesn't have to be at the gym. Just get out and walk around the area where I live. It's beautiful, and it's amazing the clarity sometimes that you get, and the creativity just getting away from the computer.
That's it. Yeah, you got to get off those devices, don't you? Probably the biggest hack that I can recommend is switch off all notifications. Switch off all notifications on your freaking phone, and you'll have a life again. You won't be checking that thing. Like for you, I've got my phone upside down. I'm not being notified. It's always upside down when I'm talking to someone. I think our attention, our presence is our most valuable commodity these days.
Right. No, you're right about that. Well, Trav, tell everybody how they can get a hold of you. There's going to be, like I said, a lot of new bucket listers out there that want to follow you, maybe even get a hold of you.
Yeah, Roy. Cheers, man. And probably Instagram is, sadly, I won't say TikTok yet, but we'll go with Instagram.
Right.
I don't know about TikTok yet. But I'm BucketListGuy.TravBell on Instagram. Facebook and LinkedIn, it's Trav Bell - the Bucket List Guy. And the BucketListGuy.com is my main website. The other one is, if people are keen on finding out more about Bucket List Coach, go to BucketListCoach.com as well. Jump onto one of our weekly webinars. But man, I've got a challenge for you, and I've got a challenge for anyone who's watching or listening. Is once you, Roy, once you write down your bucket list, and I know it's got India and Iceland right there already. Right. So you got India, Iceland, and did you say you were going to do an Ironman triathlon as well? Did you put that down?
No, that wasn't.
Oh, I thought you mentioned that earlier. I'm only shitting you.
No, not yet.
So, So I want, once you've done that to the best of your ability, I want you to just email it to me.
Okay, I certainly will.
All right. All right. So Trav, guys,
Okay.
Trav at thebucketlistguy.com. That will literally come to me personally.
Okay.
And I have magical powers in order to make that stuff come to fruition.
Okay. Yeah, and I'll be sure and put all that stuff in the show notes. So again,
Cool.
Trav, thanks a lot. Remember, y'all can find us at www.thebusinessofbusiness podcast. We're also on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and LinkedIn too. So give us a shout out. Trav, it's been great. Look forward to talking with you soon.
No worries, Roy.
Thanks.
Cheers, mate. Bye.